Jacob, welcome in, brother.
Thank you for having me.
It's nice to meet you, man. I'm excited to hear, like we were just saying, I'm excited to hear about your business. So let's just start there. Give me some background on you, where you're from, and then kind of how'd you get here, and we can go into your business a little bit.
Sure. I'm originally from New York. I grew up in the Bronx.
Oh, really?
Yeah. 5-10 minutes away from Yankee Stadium.
Nice. You Yankees fan?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Chasing 28.
Yeah, dude. Heck yeah. The golden years of the Yankees was A-Rod, Jeter, Matsui, Giambi, Posada.
Mariano.
Yep, Mariano. Mm-hmm. Who was their outfitters at the time? Sheffield, and Johnny Damon.
Johnny Damon. Dude. Bernie Williams.
Yeah, look at that lineup.
The guys.
That's an all-star lineup on one team.
It always has been.
It was incredible, dude.
Yeah.
Has it? I mean, do you follow Yankees still?
Yeah. I follow this most of my lifetime. They've brought a lot of people up through their farm system.
Right.
So it's different to see that as opposed to what everyone thinks about the Yankees and them just buying players.
Yeah.
But it's still fun. Like they got Juan Soto, which I thought was crazy.
Yeah.
So.
Dude, baseball has changed. I grew up playing baseball. It was like my sport. And like watching the College World Series, most recent College World Series, just watching the differences, like the catchers teaching completely different things than what I got taught. They have earpieces now. You got timeouts. You got review. You can challenge strikes and balls and safes now.
The pitch clock.
Yeah,
it's on the collegiate level as well.
Incredible, dude. Which I think is good. Baseball kind of needs that.
Yeah,
because it can get super boring to watch. If you're 9 innings in, it needs some flair.
You have a batter that's doing all of his
right, yeah,
whatever.
Like they got 17 sweatbands, a million necklaces. Yeah. You're like, is this even sports anymore? So all right, so from New York originally. When did you come down to Tennessee? Or what happened in between then?
My mother's job moved us down here.
Okay.
So my father was working for a steel trading company.
Okay.
And then had to find another job when he moved down here, but they covered all of our expenses to come down here. So they gave her a raise, stayed on New York salary, but got to experience Nashville living in 2005.
Okay.
So been here about 20 years-ish now.
You're local, man.
Yeah.
You're pre-flood, you're local. That's the rules. You're
pre-2010,
you're considered a local. I'm not. I'm 2019, so.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So
you've seen incredible changes in Nashville.
Absolutely. I mean, my parents bought a house here in 2011 for $140,000, 3-bed, 2-bath, front yard, backyard.
In Nashville?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I don't even want to know what it would go for now.
Probably $400,000 or $500,000.
Dude.
So
incredible. So you got down here in 2005. Did you go to school here, high school here, all that stuff, college here?
I went to high school here, college here. I did a year at Belmont, and then I finished up my my bachelor's at MTSU out in Murfreesboro.
And what got you into architecture?
I've always been fascinated with it, and coming from that baseball background and just playing travel ball a lot, we were able to travel all throughout the Southeast, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, South Carolina, North Carolina. I always enjoyed the free time that came with the tournaments.
Yeah.
So I'd have my mom and my dad drive us around the town, looking at all of the different buildings and kind of wondering what that process was like. And cool. I never knew that there were, specific architects or architecture firms that basically got to change and develop areas. One of my favorite things that I got to do when I was living in New York was an architecture tour of Yankee Stadium.
Oh, that's incredible.
Seeing the whole process of like the development, how they secured the site, what they chose to focus on, what neighborhood elements that they wanted to incorporate in the stadium. That's always where my passion has been rooted. I didn't necessarily want to go into commercial because there's a lot of different moving pieces of it, and I've always been a big family person.
Yeah.
So I decided to go more of the residential side of things and working directly with homeowners.
Yeah, that's really cool. You can have what I imagine would be. It feels like you have a lot more of an impact if you're helping design someone's dream home, instead of designing a commercial building.
Yeah.
Feels a little bit more like a transaction at that point compared to someone's home.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So, and this is your business, right?
It is. I started it at the end of 2023. October is when I filed everything.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where my mindset changed, and I decided that I was going to leave the job that was paying me. So
we love getting in that conversation in here. The leap of faith from safety to unsurety is terrifying, but usually pays off. So where were you at before? Were you working for a firm?
I was working for a real estate developer.
Oh, okay.
So they had a couple of different divisions of their company. I was the lead designer of the design division of the company. So I brought in business, but I also designed projects for them as well.
Gotcha.
It was really a little side note story. It was really cool. That same house that my parents bought when we moved here in 2005, this company that I worked for, when I started working for them, they bought a plot of land in the neighborhood right next to it, and from where I grew up and used to ride my bike and everything. And those houses are going up right now, so it's cool to see the impact that you can have on. I mean, that's basically my neighborhood. My bus used to go through that.
Yeah, you were riding bikes and being a kid, and then fast forward 20 years, 15 years later, and helping design and create and develop. That's really neat, dude. Okay, so what was the trigger to go, all right, I'm gonna take the leap of faith and do this on my own?
February of 2023. I got diagnosed with stage 1 cancer.
Oh my God.
And I had to have surgery to have it removed. Never had surgery before. And that was kind of like a wake up call for me. At the time, we were in development for the 6 homes that I just mentioned. We had 2 spec homes going up in East Nashville. We were working on a 6,000 square foot restaurant up in Clarksville. So there was just a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
And I felt like God was like, you need to stop. And I've had a history of cancer in my family, so I wanted to, tackle it as soon as possible. And there was this peace that was over me that I can't really explain in words after my surgery. And I just wanted to feel like I was making a larger impact than I currently was. I know all of those projects that I mentioned that were going on at the time of my diagnosis was a lot, but I just wanted more creative control, and I also wanted to direct the business in the way that I felt God was impacting my life.
Life is short. You wanted to make an impact. Wow, dude, that's incredible. How's the decision been so far?
It's been really cool.
Do you still feel at peace?
Absolutely.
That's great.
Not
news.
all the time.
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah.
I mean, every step of the business, every time that I feel like I'm going, or that I might be doing something that's, God, what did you have me doing? Like, why did I start this? And, it's just waking up the next day and trying again on something that didn't work.
Just keep getting after it. There's a great quote for entrepreneurs. It's super simple, but it's, I cannot fail if I do not quit. And if it sounds kind of like, all right, that's whatever. But if you really think about it, that's what business ownership is and entrepreneurship is. Just most of the time, the problem gets so tough that people just go, this is not worth it. Because A, I'm probably making less money than I've ever made. I'm working more. And at some point, I'm just gonna go back to what I was doing. So you're right. You just got to keep grinding, waking up and doing the same thing, or changing it, and trying to find the route there. So let's talk specifically about your company. Mm-hmm. It's Canaan.
Canaan.
Mm-hmm. So House of Canaan. Where'd the name come from?
Biblically, Jacob was told by God to build his foundation in the land of Canaan. Don't
tell my mom I didn't know that was the Sorry, Mom. Gotta go back to Bible school.
We all do.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, every part of coming up with the name of the business, I didn't want it to be Jacob Perry Designs LLC, because I feel like that's super generic, and it doesn't tell a story.
Yeah.
Nobody knows my name, but there's a little bit of intrigue that comes with most people whenever they hear Canaan or they see Canaan, depending on how much they read their Bible.
Gabe.
they'll immediately pick up on it and that's really cool.
Or it'll at least create a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
They'll question it.
Yeah,
that's neat. Tell me about it, right?
Yeah.
That's when we named the restoration company Adroit, Adroit.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, I was thinking the same thing you were. I was like, I don't want to just name it like, we'll clean your house, or Restoration 101.
Yeah.
But I wanted something that was going to start a conversation. I wanted one word, right? And adroit means clever or skillful with the hands or mind. So it was like a perfect thing for kind of what we were aiming to be, what we were trying to be, what we wanted to portray to customers. Mm-hmm. So I love your thinking and naming the business something unique, something with meaning, something that kind of is pretty powerful, especially, yours. That's really cool, dude. That's cool. So let's talk about what your process is with customers. Mm-hmm. When do you get involved? How do you get involved? Who's your best customer? Just talk me through the process of what you guys do.
So when we get involved, it can be as early as there is no house. There's no sewer. There's no septic. There's no nothing.
Is that better?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because we can kind of get all of the worries and the fears out in the beginning, to where if we have a conversation that pops up, 6 months into a house being framed, then it's like, you remember when we talked about this 6 months ago? This is a new problem for both of us.
Right.
So I always like to tell people that, whenever they're going into, if it's a new construction or a remodel, to have your contractor, have your architect / designer, and then always have your partner there with you. A lot of the times in my business, I'm working directly with the wife or the mother of the house. Father isn't around as much. So there's a lot of things that get missed, or things that having a different perspective on something, which is good in the revision process, in the building process. It's just good to have those second, fourth, sixth set of eyes on something, especially if you're the one that's going to be living in it, not me.
And is your wife going to be pissed off when you made the decision that... Without her. Yeah. That would be me, dude. I would make all the wrong decisions. And legitimately, they'd be like horrible decisions. I'm like, I just didn't think about it or care about it enough to put the time in. Yeah. So obviously both parties is better. Mm-hmm. And then you've got your designer, if you have interior designer, if you have one of those, definitely builders there as well, and you.
Yeah.
So that's the conversation from the very beginning.
Right.
Gotcha. Okay. And then... So let's say, do you do more like complete ground up, or do you do like additions, renovations? Where do you usually get involved project wise? What does that look like for y'all?
Primarily doing larger renovations.
Okay.
I have the ability to do new construction projects. Most of my projects now are either small kitchen and bathroom renovations or larger additions.
Gotcha. So you're adding on like a garage or something like that.
Correct.
My in-laws just got a bunch of that work done. They added, I would say, 500, 600 square foot probably. Giant kitchen. Moved a staircase, turned the old kitchen into a bedroom, added a bedroom, like ton of work. And the architect, they dealt with an architect that I don't know if they were super thrilled with.
Mm-hmm.
So I wish I would have known you like a year and a half ago.
So good.
Because we could have alleviated some heartache there. So where do you find your customers? Are you doing networking? Is it relationships with builders? What's that look like?
Relationships of any kind. Everyone has to have a home.
Yeah.
And I think everyone deserves to be in a home that they feel comfortable in and enjoy and, want to spend time in. I really enjoy when I get the clients that I get to impact multiple generations. So, for example, I have a client right now that they're relocating here from Chicago. They have a daughter. It's a husband and wife that has a daughter. They're moving in her father and his mother. And they're going to be cohabitating in the basement area.
Wow.
So that's a project that I'm like, let's
figure this out. Let's go.
Let's all figure this out. Let's all gather around.
Dude, the design and the layout and all that stuff is going to be crucial.
Yeah.
Because it could either feel like they're living together or not.
Yeah.
And that's why oh my gosh. Good on them. I don't know if I can do that.
I'm not built like that.
Yeah. I'm like, you guys want me to just build you another house? You can do that.
Y'all stay over there.
Yeah, let's start a GoFundMe for them, dude. get them somewhere to live. Oh my God, dude. So we always like to have the conversation about two things. First one is, taking the leap. Mm-hmm. If there's a potential young architect who's working in a firm, thinking about starting their own thing, what advice would you kind of give to them that now from your time owning the company and having been in a firm and been in their shoes?
I'd say probably just to make sure that whenever you are starting that you have, certain projects lined up or at least have some conversations started. And being as present in your community as possible, because if nobody knows you, then no one's going to do business with you.
Right.
So those would probably be my two key things that I would focus on, which I was already doing at my last job. Most of the people that I was meeting and the networking opportunities that I started going to, people recognize my face a little bit more.
It's crazy you say that. I don't think we've had anybody, when I ask that question, regardless of the industry, regardless of the age, doesn't matter, the number one response without fail has been community. Like, be involved, get involved, find people who are in the industry, in the community, do what you can to be involved, and that's what's going to help your business more than anything else. Mm-hmm. And do it from the beginning. Yeah. That's most people's kind of regret is like, that's my regret too, is it took me about 6 months before I was like, all right, I got to get involved in like everything I can get involved with. And then I saw a noticeable change right away. So that's right on par with what everybody else is saying, dude. The other thing I like to ask, speaking directly to customers, if there's, an example in restoration, I always wish that customers knew that time is not on their side. If it's not us, you got to get somebody in there to start the work or it's going to get worse. Right, and then you're going to have to pay more money. Mm-hmm. Just rip the Band-Aid off. Let's get this thing going. Is there something that you wish kind of your customers knew prior to you getting the call that would make their life easier, your life easier, make everybody happier?
I'd probably say stay off of Pinterest, Instagram, just because the HGTV life isn't realistic, and it kind of brings you up this roller coaster to only be let down in certain aspects of it. So also I do a lot of like client education stuff.
Oh, cool.
So I try to, be as forthright with information that I get as possible. A lot of my clients that I have right now, they have, been in their house 15, 20 years. So they don't really have any knowledge of what things cost.
Okay.
So
they're shocked. Sometimes they're sticker shocked.
Yeah. Which in my business, I like to provide multiple options just so they know what they're getting for the price that they're getting it for.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's dude. The HGTV has ruined like design and interior design because it's not reality, and similarly, all of the real estate shows has ruined real estate and realtors and being agents because it's all so unrealistic.
Yeah.
But everybody, dude, we had a lady. We were doing a job one time, and it was a flood in the bathrooms. We ripped it out and replaced everything.
Mm-hmm.
And she was complaining about something, and she goes, "Look, I watch a lot of HGTV, so I know what I'm doing." And I was like, that was her direct quote to me. I was like, all right, so what do we need to do? You know, like, why don't you just take over here?
TV budget doesn't exist here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, do you want to pay it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's horrible, dude. What are the pain points in your industry that you see homeowners have when it comes to, if they want to add on or something like that where your services are needed? What are their pain points that they go through during that process?
A lot of something similar to what you said earlier is, time isn't on their side.
Yeah.
And understanding what needs to happen before the next step, before we take any further steps. So if it's a new house being built and there's never been anything on the house, it's like, okay, you need to either find a builder that's going to pull a septic permit for you, or you need to go through this septic permit process yourself.
Yeah, right.
Or if there's an HOA involved with your whatever you're doing, do they have any restrictions on what you can and can't do? And who do you need to contact on what needs to be done before you can actually start any work?
What's the easy button for that? Is there like somebody that you hire that handles all of that?
Not me. I don't get paid enough to deal with
That's
HOAs.
That sounds like somebody needs an assistant or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know.
The price
who
is
that
right.
is.
I told you I'd join a cult if the price was right. So if there's anybody out there who needs that, you tell them what the price is, and I'll knock it out.
HOAs are cults sometimes.
Yeah, dude, big time.
Yeah.
HOA, BNI, all three-letter agencies are cults. FBI, CIA.
FBI, CIA.
Well, dude, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you coming in. How can customers find you? What's the best way to get a hold of you, and all that stuff?
Directly at my website, houseofcanaan.com, or Instagram. I have people that are very active on there.
Nice.
As far as reaching out and responding. You can reach out to me directly through my email, which is on the website.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome, dude. Well, hey, it was a pleasure meeting you, Jacob.
Nice
Thanks
to meet
for
you as
coming
well.
in, man.
Absolutely.